Okay, let's quickly start the session. What we discussed, would like to cover a minute. So, in last session, we have seen the default profile options that have been assigned, or normally we used to assign a minimum number of profiles or trees. So this we have discussed, and the list of all responsibilities that already been created with the user. The user name is cloud. Okay. So this is the user. User that are it is already created, and these are the different responsibilities. It is already created and associated. We'll check each and everyone on each integration. I'll go to the responsibilities and we'll see if any menu is missing. Okay, and so as we discussed, when you create the business group, system automatically creates a job group against to it. And we already noted what is the business group have been created and assigned to the profile. So with this help, we can go and check the business group. So today we'll start, we'll go into the setups, into the project accounting foundation, predominantly the costing. First module we'll start and we'll see. So what is the business group? This is the India business group they have created. So guys, please go on mute. All right. So I'm going to the instance level. This is the user, that's a cloud user. Let's go and create the required setups for today, and we also check the business group. Business group right now we can able to check because the human resource is already been created. The responsibility of human resource. Okay, I'm going to the system to human resource responsibility. Okay. So you have job group here. We can go and navigate to the job group. I'm going to query my business group. Okay. Let's copy. So HR 9838. This is my job group. The system is already created by using the job flex field structure. Okay. So it's automatically creation. Those things we know as a part of your EBS foundation, the business group entities, different options. Those flex fields are responsible. Okay. So the HR 9838 is my job group, which is very important to know the functionality of the job group. We have to use this job group in ongoing sessions. Okay, so this is one point I would like to discuss today, and finally I'm going to create another responsibility to discuss the project costing module. So let's go and create the first responsibility, and what is the menu option we need to select, okay, for a super user, and all those stuff we can discuss. Okay, So I have already shortcuts are there. Okay. So I'm following the same naming convention. So let's see this. Okay. Project cloud project costing super user. I'm going to create application is projects. Let's use the responsibility key. Okay, the length is the issue. All right, I'm going to take the standard one, the data group, and here is the menu. So menu, we need to give a specific menu for the super user. So the super user menu, I'm going to select GUI. So let's check like this. This is setup, right? So setup is not required. Up to here we'll select. Okay. Let's see here. Let's spend some time here on PC project costing. In PC we have a super user GUI and also SU setup project GUI PC. PC means project costing. So let's take this. Okay. In case of billing, just in place of PC, we can go ahead with PB. Okay. So for time being, I'm selecting this responsibility, and I just created it. I'm not going by any of the menus or the stuff. I just copied this. So my responsibility is created, and the request group. Let's check. Let's open project sublet. All project costing programs. So let's select this project costing programs. Okay, I'm done. Just going to the user. Okay, I'm just going to add my responsibility. Okay. So the costing user PJC is started now. Right. So responsibility is created. Let's go and assign all the profile options to the responsibility. So the ledger name. So already we have noted the ledger. Okay. And then HR user type as HR user. and HR security profile I'm going to use as our business group. The security profile business group is this one. Responsibility level also I would like to go ahead with this. Next, MO operating unit and default operating unit. This is also created by the previous EBS class people. Okay, the operating unit, what they have given here is purpose operating unit. Okay, and the default also would like to default the same thing, so I'm going by the default also. All right. So my responsibility is done. Responsibility have been assigned to the user so that this user has an ability to go with projects. So now all the operations, ongoing operations in project hosting, predominantly the foundation of the project is going to be happen with these responsibilities. Okay. All right. So now some of the questions have been answered in this session. Like we have some questions like the shared human resource we will see, and the organization's hierarchy we will see today. So that some of the questions will get visualized answer in today's session. Okay. And now in this complete set of menu options, we have set up. This is one of the main menu option we have at Navigator, and I would like to show you the all human resource shared menus available within projects, so that you don't have to implement a full human resource suite. It is not required. So if I go to the menu option, okay, we have resource and organizations. Okay, in this menu, these sub menus are like HR foundation, all this stuff. So I'm going to HR foundation, and you have here people, right? People. This is exactly the employee screen where you see the enter and maintain. Okay. So now this is the shared employee workbench. Shared employee workbench between your human resource and project accounting suite. Okay. And now the very first step what we have to do it is, so when I have the business, okay, when I wanted to implement the projects, first of all, what all the operations I need to track, that what is my basic business, what are the operations in the daily business, we will go and check, right? So accordingly, when you observe the complete requirement, you will come across that various organizations are incurring the expenses across your business. Okay, those may be within the given operating unit or the other operating unit. You may have the different organizations, and each organization has its own ability to perform the transactions. So transactions within the project is nothing but the expenditures, or you have any other application related expenditures you are transferring to the P. Since we are talking about only the costing, I would like to talk only expenditures. Okay, so I would like to when we go a little further, for example, say in in my business, one of my in the business, one of my organization called EBS Finance Org. There is an organization, EBS Finance Org. In this organization, within the business group only, in this organization, I would like to allow the system, okay, to perform that organization can book any kind of expenditures. Organization has an ability to access my human resource data. Also, going further, this organization has an ability to build a customer also. When I wanted to build a customer for a particular source, the source is nothing but the source of my expenses is coming from finance, then this finance org is eligible to book an invoice also. So these are the different activities that organization has an ability to perform. When you have these kind of requirements, then that can be fulfilled through organization classifications. So I will talk first organization. We will set up a few organizations. For example, I'm going to set up the finance organization, and I'm going to set up purchasing. All right. I'm going to set up one more organization called sales organization. So these are the based on the requirements. When I have my BP80 document, the business process document, based on the process, I understand that the various organizations are required to perform ongoing activities, number one, and each organization has its own ability to perform those actions. So these are the two basic points we need to track in your approved documents, BP80. So accordingly, we need to go and set up the organizations, and the abilities that organization is supposed to perform would come from organization classification. Okay, so now I will go and create this in the system. Then I'll talk about each and every classification very in detail, so that you are in a position to understand the basic, the classifications. This is the very important. Okay, and also I will cover a few more real-time scenarios. Now, the navigations, everything I'm not going to write because it takes some time, and anyway these videos are going to share. And guys who is writing the notes, you can write the navigations also. I'm going here, you just see the screen and you can always note down the navigation. So that is going to track over here. Okay, so organization creations, we have an ability from costing responsibilities. Okay, so setup, resources and organizations, HR foundation, work structure, organizations. Okay, and description. So if I go to the description directly, it will open this particular menu, and your navigation, you can write down, this is the navigation, the complete. Okay, so I'm going there, description, I'm going to create a new organization, right? So one thing, if you observe, I'm going very systematically, very structured way. I just write the organization with the uppercase, initial letter is uppercase, okay, and this has a standards. And after that, I'm going to copy. I'm not retyping here. I'm going to copy here, which means the reason why I'm going to copy is these are the case sensitive. these are the case sensitive organizations when I want to set up auto accounting. Auto accounting is a future class. So in order to set up the step-by-step process, I'm going to copy this and I'm just pasting over here. You have to understand this. The reason is in auto accounting setup, we have to define, we have to map our organizations into our accounting so that each accounting is have been associated to an organization where your expenses are incurring or your billing event or your task owning organization. So those kind of things are case sensitive. So in order to avoid this, so when you prepare the BP80, you need to list out all the organizations and you are going to prepare your setup document, the BR100. So the best practice for every PA consultant is, while preparation of your documentation itself, you have to check the right format and right organizations with correct spelling, and that's it. Just go and open your BR100, copy and set up in the system. That's it. So wherever you copy and paste, obviously there is no question of the text violations or mismatch kind of things, because it's a case sensitive. When you set up a specific auto accounting, these are the case sensitive. Okay, this is how we need to eliminate. That is why right from the documentation onwards, we have to be so careful that the case sensitive kind of topics can be handled in structural way. All right, I'm going to create the finance org. I just copied over here. All right, so location, I'm not going to just go and create. I just created finance ABS finance org. Okay, all right, and now here is the organization classification. So we all know the basic classifications, like if it is a legal entity or operating unit or business group, those kind of classifications we all know as a foundation, EBS foundation. But in projects, we have project related classifications. Okay. Now, the first classification I would like to HR organization. I'm going to enable this. I'm going to set up the finance org with a classification of HR organization. This is the first and foremost step you have to do it. Okay. All right. What is this classification? What's the significance of this classification? What it does? Generally, these organizations, EBS Finance org, just a second, one N is missing. So this finance organization would like to access your human resource data. This is the first and foremost thing you have to enter. Okay. So with this, I will go and little in later classes, this significance of org would come, and we can see the difference. What happens if I don't assign this? Okay. If I don't assign, obviously, what is going to happen? Why the data is missing when you especially accessing the finance org? Some of the human resource data will be missed. There you can see the classification is missing. Then I will assign the classification. We get to know all related data against the organization. Those kind of those kind of operations I will do it. Wantedly I will miss few classification. I will see where exactly data is missing, what is required. That is how we can able to know. All right. And now the project related classification. Apart from the HR organization in this finance org, EBS finance org. Now just focus on these 3, okay, just leave project manufacturing, or when you have the manufacturing modules integration, then I will use this. Okay, right now I'm not going with this, but we'll see some definitions of it. Okay, all right. The very first thing is project task owning organization. Okay, we'll talk more on this. The project task owning organization means this organization, okay, the EBS finance org. In this EBS finance org, this organization, when I assign the project task owning as a classification, so that I can, this organization has an ability to create a task within the organization, or against the task you can book an expenditure. Okay, for example, uh, in my project, okay, I will talk about the project definition, and within the project I have the work breakdown structure, WBS. Each breakdown we call it as a task. Okay, now under each task you can have the multiple costs can be accumulated in terms of an expenditure. For example, project A, task 1, and under task 1, against an inventory cost, my items have been consumed. Against a project, those cost is interfaced with the PA, say the task 1, and the cost is coming as $1,000 within the organization, the finance org. Okay, so under the task 1, against the finance org, if I wanted to track the expenditures of $1,000, first of all, the task has an ability to accumulate the cost. Okay, so whatever the cost incurring against the task, but the organization is finance org, so it has an ability. You need to create the ability to incur the cost against the finance org. That only happens to the task owning organization. So when I assign the task owning organization, this within the organization you have an ability to create the task, to enter the cost against the task. All those actions will be performed. Okay, so I'm going to enable and set up. And now the next classification, this finance org has an ability. Next, expenditure or event owning organization. Okay, expenditure or event owning organization. So this classification, what it does generally in the finance org for a project, when you want to book any expenditure in terms of the cost, okay, so first of all, this organization should accept the cost, or it has to be in a position to accumulate the cost. Then only we can able to book the cost, or you can get the cost from any other boundary systems or interface from any other subledgers or any application or any third party 3PIs. All those can be possible using this classification. So this is about the expenditure and event organization. This is project expenditure or event organization. Events are just like, you know, for your future reference, I will give the definition. Events are nothing but the milestones to bill your customer. Okay, so I will go very in depth like events and milestones in PJB right now. Just try to, you know, follow with my, you know, whatever the terms and those are using, you just follow that, so that you know we both are in sync. So project expenditure or event organization organization is predominantly talks about if you assign this classification to any of the organization, that organization has an ability to book an expenditure. Also, it has an ability to bill the customer by creation of any event. Okay, so I'm going to assign this classification as well. And finally, project invoice collection organization. Okay, the invoice collection organization. This is how one way we can implement this security. Always, when you implement any product in your business, the first point is security. How my business is secured enough when I enable any product. Okay, when I implement any software, how it is secured. So the securities are in e-business suite. The securities are various levels of security. This is one way we can restrict to not to allow any other organizations to bill your customer. One way, this is the security. The other way, we have role-based securities. Okay, so in role-based securities also we will restrict by using a handful of roles to a particular user. Okay. Now, collection organization, invoice collection organization means if I assign this classification, I can bill to the customer under this organization. Okay. So I'm going to enable this as well. So I would like to bill the customer by using this finance arc. I can able to do the expenditure, I can book the expenditure, and I can able to create a task in this organization. Okay, so these are the different classification, and final classification is project manufacturing organization. Those things, project manufacturing organization, when you have the PJM integration for an inventory, we can able to assign the project manufacturing classification as well. Okay, so I'm not using that because I'm not going to demonstrate the project manufacturing integration. So I'll go and copy this task warning organization. Any questions? Till the time I copy, we can discuss any questions in this. Since it is very first time, okay, you may get a little confusion over the terminologies. We'll slowly accommodate with the terminologies. Okay. So this is the HR organization classification. It's mandatory for every organization to read the seeded human resource data. Okay, so we can run the replicate. I will run later point of time. Okay, after creation of your hierarchy, then this org will be reading the human resource data by using this classification. Any question in task warning organization, project expenditure or event organization, invoice collection organization, or project manufacturing organization? So these three, and the project manufacturing organization is the fourth one. These are the four project classifications.
Sagar, do we need to follow the same sequencing?
Yes.
Any specific reason?
Which one? This one you are talking the invoice collection or?
All the sequencing. Suppose I forgot to mention about project invoice collection at a later point. Okay, and I forgot to mention about HR arc. then I can go back and at any point in time I can go and assign them, correct?
Yes. 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 Intentionally, I have done in the sequentially. I enabled all except project manufacture. The reason is going forward in next in future classes, I would like to create a task under this. I would like to create a task, and the expenses should can book from this organization against the task, so that this finance org has an ability to book a cost with a given task. So for that, you have to have the task owning organization and expenditure or event organization. These two classifications will support going forward. If I want to create, say, some $100 of expenditures, if I wanted to book under any project, with this organization, these two classifications will support you. And secondly, I would like to bill to customer in this organization. Whatever say $100 and my margin percentage or the profit percentage as 20 percentage, $120 if I wanted to bill, and the expenditure based on the expenditures is finance org, and the bill is also coming related to the expenditures of finance org. So my organization classification, invoice collection organization will be supported. So it has an ability to bill your customer, and you can also collect the bill from the customer. So keeping these two requirements in the mind, I have to bill to the customer against this, and I can also create the task, and I can able to create any event which is nothing but the billing source. I can able to create the event in this organization in my future, so that I'm eligible to have all these requirements. So these requirements will be tracked, and the requirement is fulfilling in the application. And finally, the HR organization. So predominantly what this classification does, it has an ability to read all your human resource data. Okay, whatever the seeded human resource data supposed to have in this organization, your ongoing exercises or your ongoing expenditures booking, or the different kind of transactions you will perform where you require the human resource data will be read by this profile option. Sorry, the organization classification, HR organization. So that way all these requirements we will track, we will implement. Okay. And you can see one important thing, task owning organization. Just go here. I'm not going to enter anything, but I will show you one important thing. Okay. You just go to the, what I have done here, I just gone to the task owning organization, just gone to the other information, and this is the final submenu we have, and this is the form where we can see some additional information of the classification. Okay, if you guys little remember, on second day we spoke one requirement. Your business is interested, for example, the finance arc. Okay, your business, this finance arc, they have to book explicitly, or they made the system such a way this finance arc should book only indirect projects related cost and not any other. You just forget about all this. These are the different types of project classifications or project types we talk about: indirect projects, capital projects, and contract projects. We'll see different number of examples about all this. Okay, first you focus on this indirect projects. You just leave about any other things related to indirect project. Just focus on this current topic. The current requirement is your business would interested to book the cost which has come across from your indirect projects, not from any other projects for this organization. You have a requirement like this. So your finance R, EBS finance R has an ability, or you have to impose a condition. It should not accept the cost from any other project types other than indirect projects. When you have these kind of requirements, you should come here and you should go and enable here just yes or no. It has only two options, okay, yes or no. If you put no, it will not accept. If you put yes, it will accept. Okay, so what I should do here, since my requirement is the finance org should not accept any cost from any other projects except indirect. So put indirect as yes, all other no. So it will not accept the cost from capital projects or contract projects. It will accept only the indirect projects. Okay. Guys, are you clear? This further additional classification information, how to restrict, how to enable your organization should accept the cost from a specific project type. Okay, this is the one important topic would like to share, and this is one of the project accounting certification question. Okay, so those who are writing the project certification, most of the questions I'll cover. Okay, so this is one of the question out of it. Any questions so far?
Yeah, can you just give us an understanding what's an indirect project, capital and contract project? Just a brief understanding.
Yes. Right. We will discuss, in next classes. At this time, just go with that screen. Okay.
Okay.
In future classes, we'll discuss. We have very detailed, example illustrations, explanations over each and every classification. Right. Any questions on our classifications? So I have noted down this. Next, I'm going to set up the next organization. Before going to set up the next organization, any questions on organization classifications? All right.
Sagar.
Yes.
Sagar, can we set up set up an organization with only the third classification, means project invoice collection organization, without setting it as a project task owning organization or expenditure organization?
Yes, that is possible. That is what I'm going to do it in the next. See here, I assigned all three, right?
Yes.
Here, I will not assign this. That is, we are going to see this one. Your question will be answered with this setup, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Right. I said some securities also going to be, we are implement the securities by using these classifications as well. We will restrict it, okay? Those restrictions will be happening from here as well. All right. So I'm going to.
Before you move, I have a question.
So I'm going to create the EBS purchasing organization. I'm also just copying from the requirement sheet. Assume that this is a requirement sheet, UP 100, something like that. And I'm just, because wherever I'm using this classification, I'll always go here and I'll copy here so that the case sensitive can be.
So Sagar,
HR organization I'm going to enable. This is mandatory. This is mandatory. Even the purchasing org should read some of my human resource data. So I have to have the purchasing organization and its classification as HR organization. And in this purchasing org, I would like to book my expenditures, and I don't want allow the system to collect or the bill the customer. Okay, I don't want because only finance department, the finance organization has an ability to bill your customer or your collection of your invoicing, but not any of the other. So in this case, I don't want to assign. I should not assign the collection. I should sorry. I should go with expenditure. So that is how I can restrict the. So even in your later point of time, we can also verify that using this purchasing org, if I wanted to bill the customer, system should restrict. Okay. So project task owning organization. Just enable and save. That's it. So here I just go on with only 3 options. I did not went through invoice collection, organization, classification. What happened? I have this, right?
Yes. One question, Sagar. Is it required or mandatory to have this organization related other details? Like we are selecting the classifications, right? The type,
Right.
the organization classification we select as project task owning organization. And after
Right.
that, we go to others and select whether is it a indirect project contract or what's the other type?
Here in task owning
Capital.
organization.
Uh-huh. Is that a mandatory?
No, that is not mandatory. What I discussed, for example, in finance org, the requirement is in such a way in your business, a specific organization, some X organization, they wanted to restrict the cost, okay, exclusively for assume that you have an R&D department in your business. If you're the product based company, you have R&D. All right, in R&D, for each project, for every project, R&D project, it has only the costing, right? There is no invoice. So you don't get any amount from the customer on R&D. The company has to go on its own expenditures, and they can develop the product by using some research and development. So for all the expenses incurred by your research and development, nobody is going to pay. And under the R&D, you have the sub-organization like finance department, purchasing department, and some other department. So in one of my R&D project, I don't want the purchasing cost. I want only the finance related expenditures. Okay, that is one requirement. And secondly, you have done your R&D, you have the final product where you are getting some customer billing, right? That is called your contract project. Okay, all these R&D projects are called indirect projects. We will discuss them later. And your contract projects, nothing but you can bill to the customer, you can collect the bill from the customer. So in contract project, same, the finance department should accept the should accept the indirect projects cost. And whereas in R&D projects, you don't have an ability, right? You should always get the R&D department related expenditures, and whereas your contract projects, you can have the expenditure, you can bill from the expenditure. So in this business, what my client said, my contract project, for example, ABC is a contract project, just an assumption. We have these departments, okay, and since it is a contract, it has an ability to book the expenditure, to bill from the expenditure or event. Now, they don't want the expenditures from capital projects, okay. The requirement, I'm repeating one more time, you have indirect projects, you have capital projects, you have contract projects. But for a specific project called ABC, my customer requirement is they don't want to track all the capital project related expenditure. They have to restrict. They don't want against the finance organization within the ABC project. So how system, you have to configure somewhere in the system, right? You need to restrict in the system saying that, hey, there is a cost related to the capital project, don't allow them, just go and put some barricade over there. So in order to set up system such a way, these classifications against the task owning organization, just go and enable for indirect, enable for contract, and don't enable for capital, just say no, so that whenever you use an expenditure within the expenditure screen, you never ever come across this organization. So we are restricting. Clear?
Right. Sagar, is there any reason why you have not added the operating unit in this organization, or is it not mandatory?
Why? What's the question? Why I did not assign the operating unit?
Yes, operating unit. So is there any restriction in adding operating unit and inventory org on this organization, or is there?
No, actually, projects. Okay, this question also. I'm going to close this for a moment. Okay. This project, complete project subledger, particularly this is complete OU specific. If I go to the, okay, for your question, I must go and show you. This is implementation options, right? This is complete OU specific. My next setup is, today our last setup is implementation options, at least the system tab. So the OU wise, it is going to be restrict. Whatever the organization, I'm not assigning, because the implementation options itself is a OU specific. Okay.
So can it coexist then, like the projects you've created, right? So they can have an operating unit with them, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. One more organization I have to create, right? Work structure, organization's description.
One question. So the project organization comes under operating unit, the organization hierarchy.
Okay. This is called hierarchy. What the question you asked is called an hierarchy. Our next setup is hierarchy. Okay. So next setup I will discuss the different types of hierarchy. There I will clarify with an example. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm going to create some sales department here. The final. It's task owning organization, so I can able to create my task under this sales department. Okay. Project expenditure or event organization. I don't want I don't want this or supposed to collect the invoices. So I just have to restrict. All right. So only HR and task. I'm not allowing these organizations to perform any invoice related collections. I just restricted it. All right. So this is called the basic organizations, creations, and next setup is hierarchy. All right. So generally we know what is in a hierarchy in e-business suite. Similarly, in projects also, there is a hierarchy we need to build to use in different places. Like, assume that you have a business group, okay? You have a legal entity and ledger. Your operating unit have been tied to your legal entity ledger so that OU has an ability to access your ledger, primary ledgers, and ledger can access the legal entities. Those linkage already is done. And now you have some of the organizations, right? So everything you need to put all together in a business group and you need to link it. So those are the things hierarchy we need to define. Using this hierarchy, we can build a communication string between various entities, your organizations to your operating units and your operating units to business group. Okay, so predominantly in Oracle projects will give you two different options, the hierarchy, how you want to define. The very first option is the hierarchy, and the second option is global hierarchy. So you can choose any one out of it, but there is a functionality wise a bit different, but technically they both one another same. Where exactly we need to choose, I will explain you. Okay, so hierarchy, it is a single string which can communicate right from your organizations to the business group so that hierarchy will be maintained. And also this hierarchy can be used in your burden calculations as well. So there is one more word called burdening cost. The burden cost, we will go and see the detailed session on burdening. So when you want to discuss the burdening cost, the hierarchy is predominantly playing a vital role. For each hierarchy, if your burden cost needs to vary or you need to calculate, we can have an hierarchy supposed to be defined. Okay, so these are the different places where we need to use the hierarchy. Okay, what is the functional difference between hierarchy and global hierarchy? There are two options we have. What option I have to choose on the given requirement? Okay, the first option, hierarchy. Like, my business is very small business. It's a tiny business. Okay, I have one business group and I have only some certain number of operating units. Like I have only 2 operating units or 3 operating units, and I have only 4 to 5 organizations, which means my business is very small. I don't have the multiple business groups. Okay, when you have a small business group, and you can have go with the hierarchy. All right. And in case you have the multiple business groups, you have BG1, BG2, based on your business. Then you have the multiple business, and your business is very very vast business. Then then what system, what Oracle recommends to go with the global hierarchy, and you can implement. Global hierarchy can accommodate any number of business groups, and then it will group everything. Okay, we can also give a linkage between multiple business groups, and you can go with the you can have a string of communications right from the multiple business groups to multiple operating units and multiple organizations, and you can define your own hierarchy. So what I'm going to show you here is the global hierarchy. Okay, and some questions are there based on the previous questions, previous participants' questions. I'll also discuss all those. Okay. Now let's see the hierarchy in the application. Some connection.
I think you didn't enable the feature, sir.
Sorry? Which one is missing?
No, in the sales EBS sales org, you didn't enable the project expenditure event org.
Yeah. Thank you. So now we are done with that. So in the same navigation setup, when you come here, the work structure, I have hierarchy and global hierarchy. Just see, this is how it looks. The hierarchy functionally a bit different, but technically, or your menu options. This is how hierarchy looks like. I'm just closing. Now I'll open the global hierarchy. There's no difference at all. Both are same, but the way you are using is different. That's it. Okay. Your user interface is same. Your technical capacities are same. Only the functional difference are there between hierarchy and global hierarchy. So I will write some diagram also here. For example, I have a business group, okay, and my business group is linking to my what is the OU there to find out? Oh, it's very big name. Okay, this is my operating unit, and internally my operating unit can communicate to my ledger, because we have an association and legal entity. So when you have a link here, automatically your BZ has an ability to operating unit, means BZ to ledger, ledger to legal entity to operating. All this linkaging is happening. So this has a linkage, and once you define the operating unit, you will give the link. Okay. So one way they all align. It has a straight string. Okay. And here I have the organizations, right? Here I have the purchasing org. Here I have the finance org. Here I have the sales org. Okay. So when you see the string, okay, what it is showing, this is an hierarchy which is following. Okay. Your business group is linking to your operating unit. Internally, operating unit association has been done. It's a primary setups. And now I'm going to link to the I'm going to link these operating units to the all the organizations so far we have created. So this is a structure. This is in a hierarchy. If I create this hierarchy, I have an ability to directly, whatever the expenses incurring, that the precedence can be happening, that can go to the organization operating unit, and I can read the at business group. This can go up to the business group also, or if you want to read some of the reporting at the legal entities level, the financials reporting tool, or some ledger level reporting, if you are using, those can be possible, okay, by using this hierarchy. Unless there is an hierarchy is defined, or the linking between your various entities within e-business suite, the reporting would not be possible, okay. So the higher officials would want to see the at some level, the higher level, not all grouping operating unit level, or your any higher level reporting they wanted to see is hierarchy. Using hierarchy we can build the report, okay. We have some seeded reports, we can generate them and we can produce them, okay. So functionally this is normal normal scenario. And suppose if my business is a very huge business where I have multiple business groups, okay, BG1, BG2 business group 3, I have business group 4. If you have any number of business groups, okay, in case you have more number of business groups in the business, okay, then it is recommended to go with the global hierarchy, and the CEO level business officials would like to see how my business is running, irrespective of 1 to 3. I would like to see all at a time, okay, with minimum separations I would like to see. So in this way, Oracle recommends go with the global hierarchy, and you can implement the global hierarchy, define and implement it, and you can have the reporting. So how to report, I can show you. This is a general configuration, okay, and how to report, how all the business groups will tie together and produce a single report. Okay.
So, Sagar, in short, if we have more than one business groups, we can go with global hierarchy. If it is within one BG, we will be going with the hierarchy. Is that a true statement?
I would say partially that is true. The reason is, even one business group is also, we can go with the global. Multiple is also go with the global, okay. It's only depends on the how complex the business is, okay. If my business has multiple business group, it is always recommended to go with the hierarchy. Even I have a single business group, Oracle recommends go with the global hierarchy, okay. Functionally there is no difference. That is what I said. I mean, technically there is no difference. Functionally, how best we can use this option is been given with two different, like hierarchy and global hierarchy, okay. If my business is also small, go with the global hierarchy. This is what we always recommend to every client, go with the global hierarchy. And it has, in future, if you extend your business in some other industries, my BGs are increasing, so that I don't disturb my existing structure, don't have to create the new hierarchies. I can accommodate same. I will tell you. Here you will get one doubt, right? So those I will tell you, okay. The first thing, I have one business group, just under that I have all those legal entity, ledger and operating units, and under that operating unit I have the organization straight away. I can go ahead with global or anything, whatever it is. Now if I have multiple business groups, okay, how you can accommodate all these, how you will accommodate all these in a single reporting structure. So those things a little a small logic we will use. Okay, we will define one more organization as a dummy. I can give the dummy here. I can link this PG to this dummy, and I can always get the reporting from the dummy organization. I will explain that. Okay. So it is not direct assumption that small business always assume to go with hierarchy and complex business should always go with the global hierarchy. It is not the way. Functionalities wise, there is a small difference, but technicals are same. Even if you check the menu options and how it looks like the user interface, the front end of this particular form, your primary hierarchy and position hierarchy. So human resource is always primary hierarchy, HRMS hierarchy, and this is not our primary hierarchy, and everything is same. You see here some versionings and controls and all those precedents you have, and global hierarchy is also having the same. Okay.
So Sagar, I have one question. So this
Yes.
hierarchy is mandatory for projects, right? Or
Yes,
it is
it is
not
mandatory.
for projects?
I said
So,
there are two different places we have to, system will force us to enter some hierarchy. The very first place is your implementation options. Okay, I can today, if time permits, we can start the implementation setup. And the second place is your burdening concepts. When your burdening concepts are coming, system is expecting some hierarchies, because hierarchy wise the burden can be displayed in terms of the reporting. So it is mandatory.
so in other way, like now we're defining these organizations and then we're linking it to the OU, right? But why not?
Exactly. That is what the next setup of. I'll always go with the global hierarchy. I'll define the global hierarchy and how the precedence is going to happen, how it is going to link. So I will explain little more so that your second question in your project accounting certification is going to be covered. So not only I'm just remember all the questions from which topic they are asking. So I'm also covering those topics here because it's a part of it, right? All right.
So
I'm going to define one
can
global hierarchy.
the operating unit a purchasing or finance or sales org instead of creating this hierarchy? So
Right.
for
This is
example,
the precedence. See, once if I define the organization, in hierarchy, if I go with the finance under the operating unit, so the precedence is going to be happen, right? So the operating unit, these are called my child organization, subordinates. Suppose, for example, take the BG. BG has one subordinate operating unit, Cloud Hyderabad OU. So BG has one, and my Cloud Hyderabad operating unit has three subordinates to it. So there are three organizations reporting to my OU, and my OU is reporting to my BG. So my BG has total 1, 2, 3, 4 subordinates. So this way we can communicate in a single string. We can use this hierarchy. Any questions?
that point is clear, Sagar, but my only concern is why we are going for so many child. If we can enable the options directly in the Cloud Hyderabad operating unit, right? So we can make them purchasing org and assign them the features of the project, right? And I create
No,
another
projects.
operating unit. So
No,
is there
projects will not work like that.
okay?
See, even I create the multiple organizations, how they link together, how they're reporting to my operating unit, because my projects is OU specific. If I want to create a project called ABC under this Hyderabad operating unit, how it is going to link? Since the projects are OU specific, if I create my ABC under this OU and later on I want the finance expenses or purchasing expenses against this project, and should precedence at the OU level, and I can have a reporting to my CEO, the higher officials, or at various, not only one OU level, multiple OU levels or multiple VG levels even, if I go with this. All business groups level data can be combined together, and my CEO has an ability to see each business growing or how it is diminishing. So you must have a linkage between each one, and you have to have a hierarchy. Unless you have hierarchy, it is not possible, number one. And number two is projects is OU specific. So keeping this, we have to have the organizations and you have to have the hierarchy in projects.
So if
for example, if I go here,
create 5 orgs, that's what you're saying, right? And then assign them with the OU, right?
Right. So if I go here, just for, anyway, we have left with only 5 minutes for today. We can freshly start the hierarchy. I just, give you one more. All right. I'm in implementation options. This is one of the major setup in your projects. If you look here, the organization, default reporting organization. So here, organization hierarchy, which hierarchy you are following, where I'm supposed to get how I'm going to report everything. Suppose I can go and default my Hyderabad operating unit here. Within the Hyderabad operating unit, I'm going to link all the organizations, whatever the expenses incurring would automatically precedence to my Hyderabad operating unit. I can communicate them so that I can have a track. If I create any project under this operating unit, Hyderabad operating unit, so that that particular project has an ability to get and accumulate all the costs incurring from various departments using this hierarchy, because this hierarchy is going to set up here. There are 3 different places within implementation options setup. We can have the hierarchies. Okay, this is one place I can show you. When we go and discuss this setup, each option, each checkbox, majority of the checkboxes where I worked upon, I will explain the functionality. And this is the place, this is a mandatory. Without this, you cannot progress. Okay. So, is that your question? Is that hierarchy mandatory in projects? Is that the question?
Yes, Sagar, I got the point. So basically, you're separating by the business divisions, right? And instead of enabling the features in the operating unit itself, because operating unit is defined the same form, organization form, right? So instead of that, we are just separating it into child organization, and then we will assign the projects in those organizations, right? And
exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That is how we are going to link here. The linking is going to happen. All right, I'm done for today. Tomorrow, what we are going to see is we'll see one global hierarchy. I will start the global hierarchy setup followed by the implementation options. Okay. So I'm going to stop the recording session for today. I just stopped it, and any questions we'll discuss a minute, and I'm going to wrap up for today's session. We'll meet tomorrow at 8 a.m. IST. Any questions?
Sagar, we did not receive the course content as well as the place where you would be storing all the recordings.
Oh, is it? Did you write any email to the admin team, ERP team, ERP team?
I have a question.
No.
Sagar,
Okay. Right now I'm giving some instructions to the
project.
Sorry, can you please repeat the question?
I think
Hello.
Yeah, I think it's only from the ERP tree, we have received only one YouTube link regarding the project accounting. I think the first session YouTube link. Other than that,
Okay, so you have to get two more. Today's one and yesterday. On Friday's one. So total three, it seems. First video was audio was very pathetic. So second and third. So you will be receiving two more, including today. Okay. I'm giving the instructions to the admin team through WhatsApp number. They are going to share with you all. Okay. I hope they are maintaining your emails. And you can send a note to them, okay, so that they are not going to miss any attachments.
yeah, sure.
I'll take care of it. I'm sending the instructions to them right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Sir, I just have one question. I'm slightly confused with is the hierarchy is closely related to the multi-org concept or no?
There are two different topics. Maybe the diagram looks like since I write business group, legal entity, you might have interpreted with the multi-org structure.
Yeah.
No, this is not a multi-org, but here it comes, right? Assume that we are into a business, and my business has various expenses. I have the billing over it. I have the multiple units. So how can I report to my the CEO of my one business? And similarly, I have multiple businesses. How can I pull the reporting in one single string? How it is possible? Who is going to do it in the application? That's what the hierarchy. Once you build the hierarchy, you run the reports based on the hierarchy. If your hierarchy contains multiple business units, business groups, it will accommodate everything, and it will give you a report to the higher officials.
Okay. Okay, because I was when I was just going through the multi-org concept, it's looking like pretty same, but
yes,
slightly up and down. Yeah, slightly up and down. Yeah. Okay, sir. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Understood. Okay, there is a question from Imran. What is your question? Yes, Mohit, your question is, are we getting sessions by 4 p.m. today? Yes. Okay. Is my voice still unclear?
No,
No,
today
I think
it is
clear.
today it is clear, sir.
Good. But some of the participants said it is not clear, but so maybe it's something wrong from their side. Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop for today. Krishna, your explanation regarding indirect projects, I will explain in going forward. I don't want to confuse you guys by using too many terminologies in very beginning days. Okay. The indirect projects I will explain later.
Okay,
Thank
and
you,
multiple BV also, if you can show us Sagar later.
Sorry?
Okay. The multiple busy in the hierarchy, it is told.
Yes. This example I'm going to illustrate tomorrow, like when you have multiple pages, how it is going to report in a single string, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I will go and a small organization I'm going to set up as a dummy, and I will explain this tomorrow. No problem.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks everyone. I hope send your questions. I will share my mail ID also. Send your questions because there are too many questions are there in the chat. We are very limited time right now. Okay, I have to jump onto the another session now. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. IST. Thank you everyone. Have a great day ahead. Bye.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.